performing Smile with a little help from The Roots. Give it up for Vince Staples.
Please welcome Vince Staples to Goldmine.
Vince Staples is here.
My name is Vince Staples, and I'm from Long Beach, California.
Feeling like I'm floating to the ceiling, is it magic?
Y'all know who the fuck
Tell me
this
why
is?
you disappearing, is it magic?
I don't want to hang with his hand with the magic. These motherfuckers ain't got no taste.
I was wondering if we could take a picture.
Of course, man.
Sick, thanks, King. I love your show. When is season 2 happening?
One day, I'm going to get rich and famous, and I'm going to get out of here and never come back. Like, that's never been a thought of mine.
The last 10 years have been an era of dominance for Vince Staples, so why does it feel like he's being held hostage by his own success?
I think at a certain point in time, I just wanted more. And my more wasn't, like, crazy. My more was, like a room or, like, a bed or some shit. So, like, once I got to that point, it was nothing to talk about. Anybody who I ever worked with wanted to work with me. I don't go out my way to do nothing.
So what's touring like for you?
I'm on the bus and I'm in the hotel and I do my show and I go to sleep. They go out, but I've never been that kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not really the Vince Staples story. Simply put, perception isn't everything.
Was it on that beat? Nope. Feeling like I'm floating to the ceiling, is it magic?
And he was rapping and it was him. His name was DJ and it was this dude named Chuck. And Chuck lived in the hood by the park. And I lived on Artesia, so I would just go to their house when I want to hang out with my homies, get in trouble. And then I would make music with them sometimes. You know, when you a kid, if your homies go to the park and play basketball, you go and take a jumper. You know, you might not be nice, but you going to at least shoot the ball when it roll past your feet.
From there, Vince forms a friendship that quite honestly just changes his entire life.
How was you introduced to Mac?
Earl had just came back from where he was at, and I introduced myself to him at a house, and he was like, yeah, I know who you are. Like, what's up with the music? And he was like, yeah, I'll make you some beats, come over tomorrow. And then I went over there, like, in a couple days, and then he had beats, oh, come back, I'll drive, I'll pick you up. He came and picked me up, and he picked me up on
So Mac came and picked you up because you didn't have a whip?
Yeah, he picked me up on Artesia and Downey in the apartment building. He picked me up.
He picked you up on Artesia and Downey?
Yeah, in the Benz with the scrape on the side, playing his music in Mill Street. Like, it's a white boy outside. He would sit there and, like, teach me how to make sure I'm on beat and, like, rap with certain energy. And, like, it took a long time. It wasn't like I was over there every day with nothing else to do for, like, months. And he was teaching me how to rap on beat, how to project. I didn't know how to ad-lib. I didn't know what ad-libs was. I didn't know what a metronome was. He taught me what all that shit was. He taught me what quantizing means, how to push it on the grid. And even down to, like, this is what certain keys are and shit like that. And then introducing me to people I had no business meeting because I wasn't at the skill level yet. Like,
As they get closer, Mac Miller starts recording more of their friendship, which means we start to see a bit of the content creator / entertainer side of Vince Staples for the first time.
Whenever people pick on Vince, I'd be like, yo, chill out, that's my homie, you know what I'm saying?
that's never happened. Not once has that ever happened.
Almost.
In the history of knowing you as a person, that's never happened. So hanging out with Vince Staples increases how you are as a person. So when you really kick it with Vince Staples, the Vince Staples within you grows. You ever seen a Grinch? It's like that.
Vince has his first breakthrough when a Christian mom reacts to his new single, Norf.
I usually listen to, like, The Effect. It's all Toby Mac, Newsboys, it's Christian music. That's what I usually have it on in my car. I had just dropped Gabby off, and this rap song comes on. And, guys, I could not believe what I was hearing.
Bitch, you thirsty, please grab Sprite. My crib's lurking, don't die tonight.
Right back in the function, one wrong word, start bustin', put that on my Yankee hat. I'm a gangster crip, fuck gangster rap.
Whip slide right back in the function, one wrong word, start busting. Put that on my Yankee hat. I'm a gangster crip, fuck gangster
This
rap.
leads to Vince quite successfully leaning into the more controversial side of his persona.
What I'm saying is, you feel me, it's a lot going on right now, but it's music at the end of the day.
You got the eye open on the joint?
Fuck the streaming services, fuck the labels, fuck all that. He's a rapper and all that, but he's still a nigga. If you think TMZ or any of these mediums or media give a fuck about some black people, you tripping. Because no matter who he is, he could have been anybody. He's still a nigga at the end of the day. So they're not going to get nobody respect just because they're black.
Now, it was a controversial answer.
A lot of things are controversial. That's life.
This leads to Vince the person largely overtaking Vince the musician, and leads to success after success after success, not solely based on the music itself, but also the fact that people bought into the persona Vince Staples.
An up-and-coming rapper is dead at 26 years old. Mac Miller believed to have suffered an overdose at his Studio City, California home.
Take a look at this big crowd here, lots of fans here. What's really impressed me tonight is the neighbors. Neighbors loved him. One guy said, you know what, I'm too old. I've never heard his music, but what a great neighbor, what a great kid. In fact, the best kid you'll ever meet.
This is the first moment in Vince's career that he couldn't turn into a joke. In an interview, he talks about the grief of dealing with the reality of Mac Miller's death.
It wasn't, Mac was going through a lot, and my thing with him is like he was trying to get better. That's all that mattered to me. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, it was unfortunate because it's like, oh, he was kind of getting into a good place. And, you know, it's ups and downs with addiction and just, you know, whatever else he was dealing with, you know, which isn't for me to say, that's for him to say.
Yep.
But I just know he was trying.
Now, I can't say for a fact that Mac Miller's death and passing had any effect on his mental state, but the simple facts are, after this, we start to see a Vince that's a lot more vulnerable and feels the need to express his feelings about the youth, about their current situation, feels the need to do outreach, and none of that was really the case before. He expressed it slightly, but never in such a well worked out way.
Yeah. So you know, you might be this close to an opportunity, you might be this close to a situation, which would be kind of receiving that loan and starting that business, and then something traumatic happens, and the response to it is how our response is when anybody get killed by the police. You know, you put your hands up and you stand still. So it's a lot of deeper meaning in a lot of the things. We just wanted to show nuance with it. Yeah, but when we think about depth, you know, a lot of the times from a creative standpoint, it's like, say, thoughtfulness comes with time or reapproach, and, you know, things are deep. If it's okay, I created this because of something that happened years ago, and then I put it in the back of my mind, and then I revisited that moment. Essentially, it's like turn the beat on, and if I don't have a song in 5 minutes, turn the beat off. And black people have always been here. We was here as slaves. Mm-hmm. We was here as sharecroppers. We was here as everything. So we've always been here, but we're such a small portion of this population when you kind of take a step back and look at it. So I feel like naturally we gravitate towards each other. I personally don't find any artist or any person alive to be more significant or better than anyone else with their contribution, with any of those things. But I know that the world feels that way. So because I know the world feels that way, when someone tells you my music affects them or changes something, I tell them thank you and I'm appreciative of it. I don't have to believe that if they believe that. I just know that there are other perspectives. And when I was younger, I don't think we thought of other perspectives. The morbid truth of the matter is that was a event called Youth Day in the city of Long Beach, where children from the age of 16 to 26 that are in youth programs throughout their schools, from high school to college to community college, sit and they talk to the man and ask him that question. It was a live stream visual. Now, the fact of the matter is that the two questions before that asked by the same young man were, how do we get more people? He was in a program that's basically for people that have been incarcerated to get into Long Beach Community College. He asked me a question about how do we stop gang violence and get people to kind of transition their life because it's hard. And then he asked the mayor about some resources. It was a live streamed event. So someone had to be filming the live streamed event on their computer, and then pages that are dedicated to the city and to people cut out every question.
This then sets the stage for Vince's debut series, The Vince Staples Show.
So what is The Vince Staples Show about, man?
I mean, pretty much just, you know, day-to-day life and our human experience. I feel like a lot of the times it's a lot of nuance in a lot of people's lives that we might kind of ignore. You know, we all had those days where we tell people, you know, you wouldn't believe the shit that happened to me today. So just trying to find ways to utilize that and that format, so to say, and kind of attack deeper issues as far as, you know, classism, socialism, violence, our relationships with those things, our relationships with fame, money, things of that nature, and kind of taking a lighter approach to kind of the stuff that we deal with day to day that people wouldn't believe, because especially when you escape the black community, right, you can tell people the stuff that you see that you might deem as normal. And when you get in these other rooms, they don't see it as normal necessarily. Yeah. So just trying to find a way to shed light on it while keeping it lighthearted. I'm not necessarily the main character in any of these episodes. The environment is the main character, but it's the show because, like, it's my perspective on how I view the world and how I feel black people interact with each other. It's not really ever about me in the show at all. And I think that's why the writing is really important, because when you think about the bank episode, right? The bank episode to me is tackling a lot of things like, all right, you just seen today JP Morgan. I seen a clip of the JP Morgan dude apologizing for being institutional slavery.
Right.
But that's part of the episode that we have. You know what I mean? So it's like being able to tackle those things are important, because I'd be in places and I'd be like, y'all just gonna let these white folks like do this shit?
Yeah. Following the success of Vince Staples' show, a second season has been confirmed and released. I think, in closing, what makes Vince Staples so addictive is we met him as this young kid that didn't really know how to engage with the media in a way that was normalized. And he grew, and we watched him become this more complex character or persona, or maybe it's him, we don't know, that represents something. He represents the growth that we become. That we can go from being a kid that doesn't really understand the world to someone who can vocalize quite clearly what's wrong with the world and how they see it. And that's really all we can want or expect from a role model, really. We're addicted to Vince Staples because he's a role model.
I think, we are what we are, and I think it's important that people try to be better or try to get better, even if it's, not really happening like that.